Hello, my name is Naoki Ota. I'm from Japan, and I used to be a consultant at the Boston Consulting Group, and I was working with the Boston Consulting for 2 decades. And 3 years ago, I was recruited by the government to support the Minister of ICT to digitalize Japan, including education. And today, I'd like to share my views when I was working at the government. So before talking about the key trends of Japanese education in Japan, let me briefly give you an overview of the characteristics of education in Japan. There are 2 distinctive strengths of education in Japan. One is the breaking the trade-off between quality and cost. The performance of students. Japanese students have been very, very good in terms of science and math and language speaking. And on the other hand, the cost is really low. Actually, only 3% of GDP is the spend for education, whereas on average of OECD is like 5%. And breaking the trade-off between the cost and the quality has been achieved at a really large scale. So it's like the automobile manufactured by Japanese companies. They've succeeded to break the trade-off between the cost and quality. That's one characteristic. And the second characteristic is the holistic education. And teachers are supposed to teach not only the math or science, but how to live. And that's a really strength. And from outside, in the past, people really liked learning from Japan experience in terms of the holistic education. And that led to a very difficult issue in the system, meaning the Japanese teachers are the busiest in the world. So according to the survey conducted by OECD back in 2014, the teachers in Japan are working the longest, close to 60 hours per week, whereas the average of OECD is just 38 hours. And where they spend time? Well, the teaching now actually is less than average. So they do spend time for preparation and the teaching like how to live. So that's a really issue of Japanese system. So now the education is changing very dramatically. But since the Japanese teachers are very, very busy, they are not good at adapting the new education in Japan. So what's happening? So by deploying the new technologies like cloud and machine learning, the teaching part has been started to automate it, to get automated, and that's really happening right now. And if I give you one good example, at the high school located in the remote island, since they struggled with the shortage of teachers, they deployed online education or the distant education in order to complement the fewer number of teachers. And they succeeded to provide students with a very high education. And that, I think, being the spread to nationwide. And the private company like the Clipper Video is contributing to automate the teaching part. And what's going to happen in the future? Well, in Japan, the 100-year life is already there, and the 70,000 people are 100 years or more. And right now, my kids, 19 years old and 16 years old, are supposed to live to the age of 100 years with a chance of 50%. and which means that the how you live and how to work and how you run are going to be changed dramatically. So where the strength of Japanese education, which is the holistic education, is really powerful to help the future kids to think about well how I should live and how to work and how to run. So I think the holistic education 2.0 is going to be implemented in Japan. That's the future. So as I told you, the cloud services and machine learning are going to be deployed in order to automate the teaching part. But however, as I told you, Japanese teachers are too busy to understand new technologies and adapt them. So that's the biggest challenge. The lessons of strengths which the other countries can learn from Japan are going to be holistic education. But the holistic education in the current system is not sustainable because teachers are too busy. So two things are happening: automating the teaching part and let the teachers spend their time to teach how to live and how to work and how to run. What I liked about this conference is that the education is different across countries, and I had a chance to have a chat with the Australian guy or Indian guy or Argentine guy, and the way the new education, the future of education is emerging is quite different. So it's a really good opportunity to know what's happening in other countries and learning each other. So in that sense, this is a great opportunity to be networked and to learn what's happening in other countries. Because education and learning is very different across countries. Thank you.